going through the great divorce, and it is not about a struggling marriage. It's not about the Bezos, marriage crumbling or something like that. It's about the divorce between heaven and hell, and we have gone through chapter 6 thus far, and chapter 6 that's the one that ended with our protagonist walking around, and he walked on the creek for a while, and he saw the waterfall, which one of my favorite images is that the waterfall looks like one crucified, and it's almost like the waterfall is creating all of this life for all of these things, and that he's told there's no. That one guy's told to put down his apple because there's no room for that in hell, which is great. And then so chapter 7. What stood out to you in chapter 7? This is the what is described as the hard-bitten ghost. The hard-bitten ghost. The thing that I enjoyed about this one was, although that's how the chapter begins in chapter 7 is, although I watched the misfortunes of the ghost of the bowler with some complacency, I love that how he's like, I found when we were left alone that I could not bear the presence of the water child. That was such an interesting. Last night we were talking about Isaiah, chapter 6, and when Isaiah finds himself in the courts of God, and he's like, I'm undone, I'm a man of unclean lips. It kind of resonates with that a little bit. So we're introduced to the hard-bitten man with him like thinking of going back, and this guy who kind of looks like he's reliable, like he has it all together, but he doesn't trust anything. So what do you think? What do you think of this guy? What do you think of this guy? Did anything stand out?
He's very cynical.
Cynical. Yeah.
He didn't believe in any of that.
He doesn't believe in any of it. Even the Taj Mahal is just owned by the same people.
It's Disneyland.
Yeah, same people as Disneyland, and apparently Salt Lake City, which I thought was funny. Like that. That's because this is 100 years old now, and so going around to Salt Lake City, the Taj Mahal, the 8 wonders of the world, right?
Right.
So he's always cynical. Like, how does that hit you? How does that hit you? Is there anything interesting in our book that they would not take back? Like that's how about your book they might take back? Did you see anything interesting in that one? The one that you have right in front of you?
This one? Yeah. No, not really. It's just they just describe the characters.
Okay, a little bit more in depth. Yeah.
Besides, I didn't look at it this week.
Yeah.
I was nursing.
For all the people that were in charge of conspiracy theory, kind of.
Yeah.
They're the ones that's controlling the whole thing.
Yeah. As I like how they're talking about, and you've lived down there in the town for some time. This is kind of middle top of page 53, and he's like, and what they call hell, yes, and it's a flop too.
Yeah.
They lead you to expect red fire, devils, and all sorts of interesting people sizzling on the grids, like Henry VIII and all that. And when you get there, just like any other town, like that. I prefer, and I really like that. These little things as I'm reading here this time. He says, "Well, I prefer it up here." I don't have a book for you, Dolores. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I gave away 2 copies this week. I don't have any left. So you'll have to pick up
the Bible anyway.
Yeah. You'll have to pick this up through osmosis. Like that's we're doing this book right now, but it looks like
it's the same as this.
Yeah, it's the same as that one. So it's a C.S. Lewis book, and And it's about what the book is about is it's a fiction story of these people that are down in this very gray town, which we come to find out is hell. It's very gray, and they get like a chance to visit the outskirts of heaven. And so that's kind of where they are. So they're meeting all these cast of characters here.
Is fiction true? I don't.
No, it's like a yeah. So that's all good. So all right. And so then he says, it seems there's some idea that if one stays here, they would soldier grow acclimatized. They grow acclimatized to all of this. So this guy's super cynical, super cynical. I don't know. Have you found places where you've been cynical? Nick?
Again, this didn't, at the risk of revealing, this does strike home.
Does this one strike home?
Really, this is my life.
I do remember a conversation to tell secrets on Nick.
So much for past confidentiality.
Yeah.
Let's go on the internet.
Well, don't worry. You should look at the view numbers on these. But no, it's something you said that I kind of thought about as we were reading about this, because it's not, you're just a stand-in for what I've heard from other people. It's like, but we had a conversation like, well, this is the thing that you're presenting is what you're telling me is so hopeful, and that's and it's like yeah, it is, but it's so easy to fall into cynicism, like why do you think it's easy to fall into it? What is this guy fallen into?
Cynicism, I've come to learn, it's a lot easier than faith.
Okay.
It really is. It takes little effort.
No, why do you think that is?
That's why I'm here.
I think
I was kind of
sometimes
hoping you'd give me a clue.
sometimes we're afraid to reveal our own sinful self. We don't want other people to really know what we've been doing or been through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's easier to go the other direction sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like armor too.
Yeah, well, it's protective.
It's like armor. And also it's I don't know, I think cynicism can be kind of a type of pride where, oh, I'm bigger than all this stuff. I'm bigger than the entire city of Salt Lake City. I'm bigger than the Taj Mahal. It's all just fake.
Right.
And that's like, listen, in this job that I have, it's easy to get cynical. It's easy to get cynical towards just church stuff. It's easy to get cynical towards anything.
So you've learned that as an experience in your profession, whereas there are some of us who purposely take a career path to continue this professional cynicism.
Yeah.
It's a perfect match for your mentality, your heart,
Okay.
etc. It's not a coincidence that some of us are doing certain things for a career.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. To get like that's true. That's true. And
Now, let me add, and I'm not making a brief or an excuse for cynicism, but it can be useful. It can be very useful in being able to step back from rose-tinted glasses and provide a different perspective, which someone who is wearing those glasses cannot see. That's the value add sometimes of cynicism. I've had my hand in the fire. I know it's hot. Let's see if we can keep your hand out of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's and I think there's like a good amount of truth in what you just said. I think that really comes out we haven't gotten to it yet, but in chapter 9, where the protagonist, our character, meets George MacDonald, but we also, in chapter 9, I don't know why it's not 3 chapters, because we meet three other characters,
Right, yeah.
But what I think the common through line, like you have the grumbling woman, the flirtatious woman, and the artist. Like art is good, but his entire existence is that art, like that's, and I think you gotta be shrewd. I think people don't like the way I use shrewd, but like you gotta be like using a synonym for cynical, because like you can't just get taken advantage of constantly, like that's you got to be
Aware.
Yeah, you got to be aware in all those things, but when that becomes the driving motivator, that becomes all you are, which I think is what's interesting about this book, is that it makes you look at it. It's not so much that feeling that the cynicism that's evil. It's that he can't even look at the Taj Mahal with any kind of reverence. He can't enjoy anything anymore. And so like I thought that was, and then C.S. Lewis's reply there at the end, page 56, where it's like a Great Depression has come over me. At least it's not raining here. And then he's like, it'd probably fill you with holes like a machine gun. like the rain. It's like, I hadn't thought about that. So that's like that's it, and it's kind of a thing. So like cynicism, like it's easy to fall into that, and that's it's over there. So then the chapter 8. Begin with page 57, and that first line: I sat still on a stone by the riverside, feeling as miserable as I've ever felt in my life. Like that's like, oh man, and he's like, it hadn't occurred to me that I should doubt the intentions of the solid people, of the people that have come around heaven, and so that's kind of I don't know. That's kind of interesting. So let's see. So setting up this chapter even more. It once crossed my mind that if these solid people were as benevolent as I had heard one or two of them claim to be, that they might have done something to help the inhabitants of the town, something more than meeting them on the plain. Now, a terrible explanation came into my mind. How, if this whole trip were allowed the ghosts merely to mock them? And let's see.
That's one little seed of doubt, what it did to him.
Yeah.
How quickly that changed his attitude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did. It's wild how it goes in there, and these 7 and 8 are just such short chapters too, and so let's see what else. Oh yeah, even the shower, the sense of danger. Let's see. He's now like in all this. But what's interesting is he realizes he's all in danger here. He's setting up the woman who's afraid,
Right.
like that's, and she's afraid and she's ashamed of herself, and that it's a great transition in how he writes this. And so the ending of the middle paragraph on page 58, it says, if it settled on my head, it would crush me to the earth. He's talking about a bug, if you remember there. Terror whispered, "This is no place for you." And I remembered also the lions. Like there was these big lions that came, and he's like, "Ooh, that's very, very scary." And then about halfway down that next paragraph, not even halfway down, I had not fully made up my mind to go back to the bus, but I wanted to avoid open places. If only I could find a trace of evidence it was really possible for the ghost to stay, that the choice was not only a cruel comedy, I would not go back. That's, and so,
He's still leaning toward going forward.
yeah. Like, and that's my favorite thing, like theme on this read too, is that all these ghosts kind of are thinking solider thoughts. And so that's why they find themselves at the bus.
Mhm.
And so he now, he's thinking like, oh, if I can really go forward there, like that would be good. And then we meet the well-dressed woman, and she's kind of hiding, and she's scared of being transparent, and but it's, how would you describe her fear of the transparency? Like that's,
Well, she was a well-dressed woman,
yeah.
and all of a sudden she's not.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
anybody to see her not at her best.
Oh yeah. That's a good way of putting it. That's a good way of putting
She's
it.
very vain.
Very vain.
Person.
Yeah.
Always has to be put together
Perfectly.
like that.
Yeah, she's not
That's how I
out in
am.
public.
That's
She
how I am.
has, she has to be seen.
Has to be seen.
And she
Couldn't be
It's
seen.
just,
Right.
she couldn't stand somebody looking through her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Seen and not heard.
Yeah. Like she's.
Oh no,
What-
I think she would want to be heard. I do. She's
The
flamboyant.
Yeah. And so, she's very, she's very kind of, into her vanity. And we end up, so she's talking to a solid person. We're kind of witnessing the solid people are people that have come from heaven to meet these people kind of in between heaven and hell. And the solid people are trying to encourage them. So he's trying to encourage her to put aside her vanity and go towards the mountains or heaven in here. And he says to her, "It's like it'll hurt with every step." Now, what does she think of this solid being? Do you remember?
She doesn't want his help. She says, "I don't want your help. Go away."
Yeah, go away. She's kind of scandalized by how he's dressed, right?
Wasn't he the naked?
Yeah, he's one of the naked
He was
ones. He's one of the naked ones. Like that. So she's so well dressed and obsessed with it so this is the beginning. This is the middle of page 60, and it says, "Well, I had never come at all if I had known that you were going to be dressed like that." My friend, you see, I'm not dressed at all. It's like, yeah. I didn't mean that to go away, but you can't even tell me. If you can't understand, there'd be no good trying to explain it. How can I go out like this among a lot of people with real solid bodies? It's far worse than going out with nothing on. Would have been on earth. Have everyone see through me.
Staring.
Yeah. Just staring through me. And but and I love how it describes the journey with this character. That he's like, if you'll just come with me, it'll get easier with every step.
Yeah.
And it's like we're all a bit ghostly when we first arrived, but it'll wear off. Just come and try. And you see this with that. It's like the wait. Oh, I thought you were raising the hands there. And I think you see this with what's the cynic before it, is that he just let the cynicism fully embrace him, and now this woman has just let vanity fully embrace her, and where it's become what she is,
I like her next comment, though.
Oh yeah, what's her next comment?
I'd rather die.
Yeah.
She's already dead.
Yeah. You've already died. Yeah, like that. That's and then it's like the ghost made a sound between a snob and a snarl. I wish I'd never been born. It said. What are you born for? Like that. That's a great one. And he says, like, just come with me, an hour hence and you will not care, a day hence and you will laugh at it. Don't you remember on earth where things were too hot to touch for your finger, but you could drink them all right? I know nothing of it. Nicole knows that, though. Like, she drinks stuff that, I'm like, you have a lining in your mouth? Like that, that's,
Wow.
yeah, like that's, I'm like, why is that? But her showers are like that too. It's like the water.
Cooking her.
Yeah, she's cooking herself. It's, but this is like, to quote you again, it's like this hopeful vision of that this solid person is bringing to her. And it's like, just come, like in an hour, you won't care about it anymore. In a day, you actually won't care so much. You'll actually laugh at your current state. It's that right there is what I love about C.S. Lewis, that it's laughing at your sin. Because so often we have all this shame about our insecurities, our sins, and the things that we try to hide. And when you realize it's like, oh no, I'm okay, like you're able to lower your guard and laugh at them. Like it's in The Magician's Nephew, which is part of the Narnia series, that one of my favorite images in that is they're in the freshly created Narnia, and all the animals are talking, and one of the animals falls into a mud hole, and all the animals laugh. And that right there, that reminds me of that story. It's just this, it's this, you're free of what holds you back. You're free of the sin. So you can, when you're free of that, there's no shame there. So you can just enjoy. It's like, oh, well, I fell in the mud hole. I can just enjoy the foible. There's no shame there. And that's, I don't know, I really enjoyed that line. Anything else in this one? Page 62, right, kind of top middle. It says, "Friend," said the Spirit, "could you only for a moment fix your mind on something not yourself?" I've already given you my answer, said the ghost, coldly, but still tearfully. Like that's, and that, I think it goes back to what we talked about with the cynic and all these people that we're kind of seeing the point there. It's like, can you put it aside just for a little?
All of these characters, despite their best effort, self-awareness creeps through. And so this here.
Yeah.
She said it tearfully. Why is she in despair? She understands what she is.
She's thinking of little solid thoughts there.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The tear betrays her self-confidence.
Yeah.
In her chosen guise.
Yeah.
And again, this is consistent in all of these characters.
Yeah.
Their bravado, their cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah.
And at some point, there is a chink in the armor.
Yeah.
There's still a residual solidness there. Well, as you suggested, it's why they got on the bus.
Yeah.
It's that residual bit of humanity or whatever it was.
Well, don't you think it sounds like we're kind of blaming other people for our
Precisely.
failings?
Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to come through every time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's almost like there's this ownership. And it's been my thesis for a long time that you as soon as you take ownership of your sin or whatever you want to call it,
it's hard to do that.
then you find out it actually has no power.
And move on.
And then you can find like that's when forgiveness is able to take root. but when it's never your fault, you know, like that's what's hard there. That's good. So all of a sudden there's like a herd of unicorns.
Yeah.
What's going on with that part of the
I didn't
story?
quite get that.
Yeah.
Like it's like we get this herd of unicorns. I think it's talking about this otherworldly, just I don't know, the power yet gentleness of the outskirts of heaven. You know, I love how it describes how like the hooves are going into the soil and that's because he's like it's so real and so like he says I heard a ghost scream. I think it made a bolt away from the bushes, perhaps towards the spirit. I don't know. For my own nerve failed, and I fled, not heeding for a moment the horrible going underfoot, and not once daring to pause. So I never saw the end of that interview. Which is a good way to end that. That she starts having solid thoughts of forgiveness and this tearful thing. And it kind of like that. I remember, there's been a couple conversations that I've had over the course of all of this. And I remember someone was being very, like, forthright on something. And I talked to this person a bunch. And they were being very dogmatic on this one point. And I looked at them and I was like, you really believe that? And then I remember they sat back and they looked easy there.
Just put it in.
Yeah. And he went, no, I don't. And it was this belief that this guy had his whole life about how the world worked. And it was interesting because of all these conversations that I had had with him. And when I said that, I was like, he doesn't believe this anymore. But he still is holding on to it.
He never believed it.
Like that's
I would argue he never believed it.
I don't know.
He struggled his entire life.
Maybe.
And finally the dam broke, or you poked the hole,
Mm-hmm.
and gave up the ghosts. And
Yeah.
a whole life spent worshiping the false idol,
Yeah. And that's
which is devastating.
yeah. It is. But I think we all have those moments, though, where we're holding on to something. I make jokes about being the great pastor with the big church and all of those things, but if those things become the goal, then you've lost the point.
Yeah. Oh, it's like we have over 1,000 members here at Grace, divided by 10.
Yeah. But that's and we all have these things that we want, and we have conversations, or then suddenly, like you said, that suddenly the dam breaks. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, this vain lady at the end, when I'm sitting there contemplating the story or this chapter,
Mm-hmm.
I think she might have gone on to heaven.
Yeah, it certainly seems like that could be what happened. Because it says he didn't see the end of the conversation. Like that's because we get in chapter 9, we get to see some that all of a sudden they just disappear.
Going the other way.
And it's like they stop thinking any solid thoughts, and they just went right back down into the hole.
It's been my experience each time. I'm rooting for these people.
Yeah.
I'm really rooting. Come on, the
Yeah.
vain guy.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's
Yeah.
more stuff.
Yeah. It's this I don't know. I really like how this is going to be weird about how this book makes me feel, because it's almost like a cleanse. where it's like, oh yeah, like I'm being gross in that way. Like that's like it's I don't know, maybe I like to self-abuse or something like that. Like that's because I find myself in a lot of these characters, and
I think we probably all do.
yeah, I think
There's parts of maybe some of them that we feel, uh-oh.
yeah.
You ever
Well,
sing the
that's- I
song
think that-
Almost Persuaded?
That's C.S.
No.
Lewis'
That kind of
genius.
reminds me of this.
That's the genius of this thing.
Yeah,
He understands the reader.
yeah.
Yeah.
He understands, he knows precisely, I'm going to read this book.
And it's so, and he does it in such a light touch manner. Like that. It's such a light touch, and yet it feels like a bludgeon. But like he's not just. If he just came out and said all these things in a dissertation,
Oh, this is a great sermon. This is really a great sermon.
and it's such a light. Yeah, it is. And it's such a light touch. I would love to turn this into a sermon series. I don't know how. I have not figured out how to do it because of the light touch.
Without mentioning my name during.
Yeah. Like that's.
Is that right, Mick?
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Nick?
Yeah.
I'm sitting at the piano, minding my own business.
Oh, my
Like
goodness.
I would have other people's names in my mouth. Don't worry. Like that's.
I've been there.
Yeah. But but I haven't where it wouldn't feel too judgy. Like that's, and I think that's the brilliance of the book is that it's such a light touch, and I don't know how to do it where you keep the coyness, like that. What?
Did you talk to Mark about
Oh
it?
yeah, it's. I need to I don't know if he's read this before or not, but like that's
I would assume he has.
like maybe.
I've met him.
Yeah.
And this needs more than one read.
Yeah. Well, it's I do a lot of underlining. I do a lot of like things because that's how I find stuff to talk about. As we're going through here, and I'm always amazed at how I will underline something or star something that I didn't even touch before. I was nowhere near it. Nothing like the whole paragraphs have gone by without me thinking. I'm like, oh, and it's just I have moved down the road and think about things differently. And so the way chapter 9 begins, it's like, where are you going? With a strong Scottish accent. Like that's yeah, and then suddenly we meet the solid guy that's come for our character.
Yeah.
And it's George MacDonald, and this is kind of a fascinating thing. So page 65, kind of the middle of the paragraph, I had not yet looked one of the solid people in the face. Now, when I did, I discovered that one sees them with a kind of double vision. It was like that's. What do you think he's trying to say with that? I wasn't sure. I thought it was interesting. Like is he just trying to say that it's like it's so big that you can't encompass it? That each eyeball kind of gets its own view.
Well, I think he's talking about the duplicity here. That here was enthroned a shining God and a very old man, Weatherby.
Okay, so like that, so you can see both, which that's okay. Like that, yeah, that's
It's like
good.
looking in me.
Yeah, the like that's what that he may have been a shepherd. Or as tourists think he's honest, and the neighbors think he's deep for the same reason, type of thing. The other thing to go along with that, and I really like that you pointed that out. It's at the top of page 66 that I divined the network of wrinkles which must have surrounded them before rebirth had washed him in immortality. Like I love
Yeah.
This would be an impossible movie to make. I don't know how you would do that vision where his wrinkles are visible yet not. And like it's just when I read that, I was like today I was reading it this morning and I sat back. Oh, what a vision. That's and because it's the wrinkles display the time, the cruelness of gravity, right? And the smiles, the frowns, scarring, any of that stuff, and you can see all that, yet you can see all of the new at the same time. I think it's a pretty vision. What do you think of George MacDonald?
George MacDonald, for lack of a better description, in real life,
Yeah.
is the precipitating cause of C.S. Lewis
Mm-hmm.
finding faith.
Yeah.
And it's very serendipitous. It's a book he comes across on a train, I believe.
Oh.
C.S. Lewis as a younger person.
Okay. Yeah.
And picks up this book, and MacDonald's writing is riveting for Lewis, and it causes him to begin to reconsider his atheism.
Okay. Yeah.
And it is not a coincidence that he arrives at such a pivotal character here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was pivotal in C.S.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis's.
And he's the solid guy coming and talking and talking about this.
And he had indeed spoken to C.S. Lewis at an earlier time.
Yeah.
Much the same way. So
Yeah.
This is C.S. Lewis's homage, as it were.
So I really I really enjoyed them talking about the ghosts on parade, I guess you could say, or like the ghosts on vacation. That it means the damn have holidays, excursions. You understand? Excursions to this country, and then and C.S. Lewis can't keep from making a joke for too long. It's like they also go back to Earth, and they haunt old addresses and stuff like that. And it's like, what a funny, he didn't have to do that. That's they tricks on poor daft women. They call mediums, and they call hauntings, and literary ghosts hang out in public libraries, see if anyone's still reading their books. It's such a fun way of dealing with the Victorian era's obsession with hauntings. And so that's a fun way of dealing with that. And then he starts talking about the valley of the shadow of life and the valley of the shadow of death. And there's a few things that he does here that I really like. That he basically is saying that if you are in the gray town, but you move to solid, that the gray town was like purgatory, and you almost kind of view it as just outskirts moving towards something. But if you are in the gray town, it was hell all along. And what I really liked about that is that we'll see where it's kind of lower end of page 70. Then those people are right when they say heaven and hell are only states of mind. He's like, hush, he said sternly, do not blaspheme. Hell is a state of mind. Yes, it never said a truer word. In every state of mind, ever shutting up the creatures within the dungeon of its own mind to end. Hell, but heaven is not a state of mind. Heaven is reality itself. And we're kind of seeing the point of the book here. And I like that he says, it's like, okay, so he's like almost trying to work out this rubric for, this is what heaven is and this is what hell is. And it reminds me of when Jesus is saying that Sabbath was not built for man, but no, that was the Sabbath was built for man, not man for the Sabbath.
Yeah, right.
And this is started because our character in here is trying to figure out how it all works. And basically George MacDonald's like, that's not how you figure this out. It's not this like you think everything of God, you think everything of Christ. I can't remember if that's in this chapter or not, but that is the point. I don't know. You guys have any thinkings on this? Heaven is reality itself. For all that can be shaken will be shaken, and only the unshakable remains. And that's it's that it's real. And and I love how he says, it's at the bottom of page 71, that paragraph. He goes, Milton was right, said my teacher. The choice of every lost soul can be expressed in the words, better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. There's always something they insist on keeping, even at the price of misery. There's always something they prefer to joy. That is to reality. Like and we see kind of the whole point of like that woman with her vanity, or the cynic. He would rather reign in his cynicism and be able to go, oh, it's all just owned by Disney, it's all just owned by there, and that way I can be over it, or let's see, the cynic, or that ashamed goes with her transparency, with her vanity there, like that's she'd rather hide than actually be exposed to anybody there. I don't know. I think you're seeing the point of the book right here. Are we exactly halfway through? It sure looks like it. Like right here in the middle. Yeah, it looks like right in the middle of the book, like C.S. Lewis is explaining what is going on.
Yeah, 142, I think is the end.
Yeah, and so, I remember the last time we did this book, I liked this quote too. I'm going to read this again. It's the middle paragraph on page 72. Like it says, some are no doubt the sensualist. Oh, I'll allow you, begins by pursuing real pleasure, though a small one. And this is everything we've been talking about so far today. His sin is the less, but the time comes on when the pleasure becomes less and less, and the cravings fiercer and fiercer. And though he knows the joy that can never come that way, yet he prefers to joy the mere fondling of unpleasable lust, and would not have it taken from him. He'd fight to the death to keep it. And then this is the sentence that I love. He'd like well to be able to scratch, but even when he can scratch no more, he'd rather itch than not. Like I see all of these in that. It's like, I have this, I like the word control. I have this control over this situation. It's like when you're angry with somebody, in that anger, you have control over them. You have control over them in that time. And so that's, at least in your mind, you think you do. Anything else stand out to you here? We're about to get into the grumbling woman. what is
That's
this one?
Sir Archibald.
Yeah, Sir Archibald. Like I was like that. Oh yeah, writing about the survival, and he died, and he wanted to do all these good things in Africa, and it drove him mad if he ever saw anyone taking interest in anything else. But when he died and went to the mountains, he was like, "Oh, it's time to explore there." But the country was of no use to him at all. Everyone here had survived already. Like his purpose for existing.
It's more like head knowledge instead of heart knowledge.
Yeah, like it's, yeah,
What he was doing there.
yeah, yeah, like it had stopped being about the people being okay and about the mission of doing,
Right.
you know, like and I think that's that head knowledge thing. It's the pursuit. I think they use this in another example of the pursuit of Christ. Oh yeah, it's right here. It's right here. So the bottom of page 73.
Yeah.
Going into the next one.
Yeah. Says.
Yeah.
I underlined he could have begun all over again like a little child.
He got so
And
interested in
joy.
proving the existence of God that he came to care nothing for God himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the important things in there.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and that's what you're seeing, I think, in this. Like, there's this danger in like, who am I benefiting here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like am I doing all this just for myself? Like, oh, we're like that. That's let's see what. There have been some who were so occupied with spreading Christianity, they never go through to Christ. Like that's like that. That's and it's the subtlest of all the snares, and it's the subtlest of the snares because you're doing good. You're doing good. You're in the business of good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's. And like that's it's brilliant how his writing shakes that out. And it's not judgy at all, but it's like, like that, and like all these things. Every one of us lives only to journey further and further into the mountains, further and further into the kingdom of God is how I would put that. Let's see. Why did I underline all of this? Oh yeah. So this is also this has become part of my lexicon now.
What page are you?
75. The top big paragraph. Yeah, you underlined the whole thing. Didn't you? Yeah. Like this. I can say like everyone who wishes it does. Never fear. There are only two kinds of people in the end: those who say to God, "Thy will be done," and those to whom God says in the end, "Thy will be done." All of that are in hell. Choose it. Without that self-choice, there could be no hell. No soul that seriously or constantly desires joy will ever miss it. Those who seek find. Those who knock are open. Like that right there. That has sat with me. It has completely changed the whole concept of hell and heaven for me. Is that, am I such an unforgiving person that I would rather remove myself from glory, you could say, so that I wouldn't have to be around someone that I didn't feel deserved it.
Right. Yeah.
Would I remove myself? And it's just like, and that's when and I'll tell you, last time we did this book, that right there changed my perspective on forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, like with teaching and all that stuff, I started really focusing on the Lord's Prayer, like forgive us our sins or trespasses, just as you have forgiven us.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh yeah, like living in the mountains, living with the solid people is is that living in forgiveness. And that's hard. That's a difficult thing. That's a difficult thing. But yeah, thy will be done. Thy will be done.
Forgiveness doesn't come easily.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's
why life is a journey.
yeah.
Challenge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we might need to be done here because we're getting into the grumbling woman. And the thing that I enjoy about the grumbling woman here on page 76, I have all the I's in her first big paragraph underlined.
Yeah.
And she's like, I do, I this, I ought, I was, I like this. Like that, that's and the grumbling. And I love how it talks about the grumbler. You know, it's like, has she become a grumbler? Has she fully succumbed to the grumble? So we will do, yeah. Let's see if I can mark that in such a way that I'll remember where we are. But did anyone have any last thoughts about what we talked about today? This was a fun class.
Yeah.
This
You
was
want a bookmark?
I want a bookmark. You got extra bookmarks laying around?
Sure.
I didn't know you were so rich with bookmarks. Bookmark
I
rich
had
this
to-
man is.
I had to make things
Oh,
for
like,
Kathy.
these are fancy bookmarks.
I have pieces left over.
Look at that's well, good deal. Well, thank you for
Let me interrupt.
Yeah.
And extol some more of this. It is easier to respond to your Bible studies question, what stuck out or what struck you, and reading this for me,
Yeah.
than when I read a Bible.
Yeah.
This is very easy for me to read and to be able to answer your question, whereas it takes a bit more work on my part to tell you what
In the Bible.
stood out in the Bible, what struck you about this,
Yeah.
without pretentiously making up a lot of nonsense. This is right out there.
Yeah.
The vanity,
Is it easy to get into?
that's all I have to say.
Yeah. We just have to order one.
Yeah.
I'll order some more books.
I
I gave my last one away yesterday morning.
like $13 a piece.
Yeah. I'll order some more. This is a book. This is a great book to hand out to people.
It is.
You know, like that. It's because it's not judgy, but man, it makes you look at yourself. And so by Sunday we'll have some copies to order. Like that's if you would like to read through it. Like it's no, I appreciate that, man. Like it's because I think it is good. It is good. There's a reason why we're the second time going through this.
Sort of basic.
Yeah.
What you really need.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Well, thank you for everyone that's watching this pre-recorded. Have a great day.
Thank you.